The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The Triple Bypass ARCA series has head to a myriad of tracks here in their Season 9 campaign. We've head to a lot of short tracks, a couple road courses, and even to the World Center of Racing at Daytona. And now, here with about 5 races left in the season, we hit the Monster Mile here at Dover, Delaware. 24 degrees of banking and 9 degrees in the on the straightaways. This track is known as White Lightning, the Monster Mile, whatever you want to call it, but it is a high-speed track that will test all these drivers' abilities. Let's see what they can do today with 125 laps on the table. Welcome everyone to PTR TV, today's coverage of the Triple Bypass ARCA series presented by Cultured Designs for the Cultured Designs 125 here again at the Dover Speedway. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and in the production truck, Patrick Reckes Coleman here to help me out with all of the calls. So Patrick, you called a race last week at Irwindale, which was a little bit of a cluster from what you said. A flat half-mile track. We doubled the length and turned the banking up here for tonight's event.
Indeed, it'll be interesting to see how this track differs from Irwindale. I mean, Dover has been a very historic track. It used to be, back when it opened in 1969, this track used to kind of double as a horse racing track and a motor racing track. Pretty much nowadays, it is mostly used for the latter, but it is just over a mile long. Longer than a lot of tracks we have raced here so far this season at the Triple Bypass ARCA series.
As you were talking about, Patrick, right there in the infield, that little mini oval, that's not a short track. That actually is the horse race track that, as you said, is still actually used to date.
It's a very interesting track here. I'm looking forward to see how these drivers are going to go ahead and navigate the track. Of course, a massive thank you to today's race sponsor, the number 23 of Terry Brooks, bringing that beautiful Culture Designs machine. Every single week we have been here, so once again, as we are in the final minute of qualifying, this is going to be a very interesting one because, like we were saying earlier, it is one of the longer tracks on this triple bypass ARCA calendar.
Yeah, it is. Most of the series is based on the 1 mile and under tracks. A couple, of course, Daytona being the anomaly. But of course, that is what we have here today. One of the bigger tracks. We had to North Wilkesboro. I think Rockingham was on there as well. So a couple tracks beyond a mile. And interesting fact, you can see the lights on that track in the infield too. Dover does have lights for the horse racing. And, you know, we have a casino here on the backstretch. But this is the Air Force Base. They're giving them a little bit of crap there on putting the lights cost the whole 1 miler, but maybe that'll happen for the All-Star, probably not. Our point standings after 9, Alan Kunman leading things through, 10 points over Brad Crest and Justin Baxter in 4th. Terry Brooks, the league sponsor, for the series sponsor, so to speak, in 5th. Matt Harmon, he sponsored the Cup race on Sunday. That was one worth rewatching, interestingly enough. Al Corey, Nick Deal, we got Honeycutt and Caleb Brown, our top 10 in points. But that'll round out qualifying, so that gives us the opportunity to thank you for tuning in to PTR TV. Of course, if it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button here on our goal to hit 1,900 subscribers, on our ultimate goal to get to the 2,000 mark. So if you have not subscribed, we would highly appreciate those few little clicks of your mouse. But now we'll head down trackside, Patrick, and I'll have you start off here. Let's see where these guys are starting here today from Dover Speedway.
All right, so going ahead and starting off with our top 10, it is Caleb Brown taking pole position in that Polaroid Mustang alongside Chad Winstead making up the entirety of our front row. Then is Alan Goodman and Sean Bradley going ahead and taking up row number 2. Then is Adam Bossy and race sponsor Terry Brooks, followed by Nicholas Steele and Brad Kress. And then to round out the top 10, it is Jim Hubble and Al Corey. Over to you, Corey.
Gotta love how that worked out. Mr. James Honeycutt going to be in 11th spot. Dylan Freeman, I thought his computer died. Someone must have relived it. A lot, whatever. He's back. He's in 12th. Mark Gerald in 13th. Donald Ristow going to be in the 14th spot. 15th finds Mr. James Benson. And Matt Alfredson going to be outside of row number 8. We head back to 17th for Adam Shaw with Justin Baxter in 18th. 19th finds Alex Squire, and then Matt Harmon in 20th. And just to round up the last few, we got John Naj Crutchley 21st, Sampson Lewis Jr. 22nd, Cam Kane and Zach Durney. And then finally we have Cody Ramsey, no relation to Gordon or Tilly, in the 25th spot.
And we're going to go ahead and pull up the weather here. It is pretty cool track temperature out here. It is 72 degrees on the surface of this concrete oval, and then 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the air. It is just at 5 p.m. Humidity is pretty high though, so we'll see how much that plays a factor into this one. Now, interestingly enough, the inside lane is asphalt here, so there is a slight change of surface, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of drivers get onto that stretch unless they make a pit stop. But yeah, we're about to get ready for 125 laps around Dover here, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. One quick pace lap around the Dover Speedway. You don't want to be on that apron unless you pit, and pitting here actually is difficult. We'll see if that happens under the green flag conditions. But it will be Caleb Brown in the Polaroid car to the inside of the racetrack. Outside lane finds Chad Winstead. They'll head into the restart zone. Very difficult here to get it going there, but we will do it nonetheless on the loud pedal green flag racing here at Dover. They funnel off into turn number 1. Some contact on the outside lane. Looks like Terry Brooks may not have got going. I saw a little contact between him and I believe it to be Brad Crest, but we all carry on just fine down the back chute.
Indeed, and we are going to go ahead and continue watching as Terry Brooks is going to continue racing on here. Some positional changes here in the early stages, what you've come to expect here, as we do see the number 23 trying to put pressure onto Sean Bradley just up the road ahead. He's going to go in and try, he's going to tuck right in behind the Mustang. Actually, the number 77 is going to tuck in behind Chad Winstead in the number 97, who himself is right behind Adam Bossi. So a lot of our strong contenders doing very good here, but Caleb Brown is still leading this race in that Polaroid Mustang. Very good start from him, but it's one thing to get a good start off the first lap, but can he keep it consistent across all 125? Yeah. That is what we're going to see. Is Corey now under a bit of pressure from two sides.
Somebody in the wall there.
He's got Jason Benson and Honeycutt going at it.
The Wonder Car. That is a squished loaf of bread there. Who is that? And that is the 55 of Adam Shaw. That definitely having some hard impact. The outside wall, very easy to get into here at Dover, and he found that out the hard way. But let's see as we go back up through the field. Justin Baxter to the outside of Mark Gerald. That's 13th spot being exchanged there. Dover does have a propensity to be, I don't want to call it multi-groove, but there's different ways to get around this place of similar speed. Some drivers will choose to run right on the line on the bottom of the track, and other drivers will choose to run the higher lane. Some drivers will choose to diamond the corner. So you kind of have to find what works, different ways to kind of skin the same cat here.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, it's not necessarily just one size fits all here in this situation. You got to really pick what works for you. And also considering that it is a fixed setup here at Triple Bypass, then you got to kind of also work around what's best for that specific setup. Because if you had an open setup where you could kind of tune the car to your liking, then that could change the entire dynamic of how you would potentially take a corner. As we do have some very good battles breaking out around the circuit, as the number 81, Mark Jarrell, is going to go ahead and try to push and try to get positions here. But Justin Baxter also trying to make some pushes of his own, trying to get past Al Corey. He's going to try to fire it up the inside, but it's not going to stick just yet. But he's going to go ahead and, as you would say, Corey, keep his foot on the loud pedal, and he's still going to hug that inside line. But now he might be under a bit of pressure. Almost a bit of contact there between the number 45 and the 58, as the number 81 is going to try to bring it around town here. But there is a lot of drama here, but everybody is luckily facing in the right direction still. Yeah,
and I think our high humidity that you spoke of earlier is kind of inhibiting our blimp cam a little bit with some modest fog here, but we'll make it work as we can. Justin Baxter to the inside of Al Corey there again, outside of the corners here. Corner exit, you'll see a lot of cars scraping that safer barrier here. Going a little bit further up, Sean Bradley in the Duff car. It's been a few weeks since we've seen him in a Simpsons-oriented paint scheme, but he is battling with Alan Kunman in the 3 car off of corner exit here and down the chute. Just behind him, Adam Bossi. So all 3 of these drivers running a very similar lane as they kind of wrap the bottom of the racetrack. The only problem with that there, Patrick, is if you mimic the lane in front of you at these speeds, you will have to deal with that dirty air,
which can ultimately inhibit the way you take the corner, and which could ultimately lead to some collision, some contact. And when you get too much contact, it's going to bring out a caution flag, which is something that the drivers do not want at this stage of the race. It's still very early on, so you can't really get you wouldn't be in a position where you'd want to try to get that cheap pit stop at this point. But the top 4 are all really close to each other, especially from Adam Bossi all the way to Alan Kunman and Sean Bradley just in the mix there in that number 77. They're going to go ahead and give it the old college try here, but it's going to be difficult to try to get these overtakes here. You got to pretty much line up the pass and get it done, but that is much easier said than done, as we have the Wonder Bread car wondering when he's going to get a shot at trying to get a pass here. He's going to tuck right in and try to go ahead and get a run on what I believe is the number 011. Yeah, that's the 011 of Cody Ramsey here, who's trying to cook up a very nice line here, trying to put up a good defense against the Wonder Bread car. So far, it has been doing pretty good, but Adam Shaw is not letting them off the hook here.
Adam Shaw has a propensity to run crazy lines. I don't know how far your memory goes back, Patrick. I remember going back to Kern County, the half-mile, paperclip-shaped track, and he was running all the way up on the top of the track. Let's go 3 wide. Be playing bumper cars. playing bumper cars caught that one live. Jason Benson got the short end of the stick there. It's heavy damage, but we are green for the moment. Now that has been changed. He will cut down the track, and no, he will remain on the raceway, but we'll check out our PTR TV replay. Saw that one coming from a mile. That one was not going to work too well, Patrick.
Yeah, going through right around here. Ooh, yep, and even a little bit of contact onto the number 47.
Now, here's the difficult part of this one, Patrick, and I'm going to use my analytical skills that nobody asked for. Nerney pushed it 3 wide to the bottom, and the 81 was high up the track, but ultimately, yes, it was the 36 kind of coming up to a natural line, made contact, and ultimately forced Gerald into the wall there. So the other day, Nerney was definitely on the aggressive side at Martinsville, so clearly the aggressiveness amongst Nerney carrying over here into Dover.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got to feel bad too, because I mean, just caught right in the middle of it. He just got the number 81 of Mark Jarrell just got ping-ponged around. He was kind of just a passenger in that whole incident. Just, I mean, got kind of sandwiched there through really no fault of his own. So I'm sure race control is gonna have a look at that one post-race. It's not gonna. I don't really think. As much as we love Zachary Nerney, he is a consistent force in elbows out racing. I can't really defend him too much there, unfortunately.
Ooh, fighting words from Patrick there. Usually you remind me of my wife sometimes. You always find the positive in situations. So when you condemn him, oh, you got the hammer going down there. But a couple guys making pit stops. This is something interesting that we didn't get to speak of because I slightly mistimed our pre-race show. But our race details that we have not discussed, but we'll do it now. 125 laps, of course, the distance as we've heavily advertised. No stage. Again, ARCA and Cup operate on different rules. There is also only one set of tires. Of course, the backup car, 100% fuel load. My estimate says 80 to 90 laps. That's based on my experience. That's of just oval racing. That's not based on anything factual. But I say all that to say, Patrick, that this is a track where it's a high load track. The right front tire is being asked to do a lot here at these speeds on this banking. So to only have one set of tires, you have to perfectly make that call. Because if you take it too early or you take it too late, there could be massive dividends to pay.
Indeed, it could be very high risk, high reward here, but on the opposite side of the spectrum, it could be high risk and high damage to your car. So you got to really play it smart here. I mean, to finish first you must finish, and you're not going to do that by taking a ludicrous move and ending up in the wall. So it'll be interesting to see how this restart pans out, as we are 1-2 green here at the Culture Designs 125 here at Dover. We'll see who can have a monster start here at the Monster Mile.
Absolutely the case here. Coming down the back straightaway, we'll have to keep track of the tire fall off as well. Are these guys going to split it halfway? Are they going to pray for cautions? Or, a lot of different things could come into play. Will there be another caution? For all we know, this one could go green from this point on, but you'll never know. I'm saying a little bit earlier, these restarts, very difficult here at Dover. You're firing on the gas while still in the banking. Sometimes we see drivers spin out, but let's see what happens here. They're firing off relatively smooth. Barney will get them going for another restart here. Going into turn number 1, all so far so good.
Indeed, I mean, cars are going too wide, but I mean, this track is, it's a track where you can go too wide to get away with it in most cases. 3 wide, like we saw earlier, clearly isn't exactly ideal, but so far it is a very clean restart. Caleb Brown getting the restart that he needed as well, but so did Alan Kudman. He's trying to make Caleb Brown scream out of terror here, as that Camry is just right behind. And he's going to try to make an effort here to try to get this move done, dusted, and delivered. But so far at this stage, that is going to be much easier said than done.
Bro is on point with the puns here today, making me proud here. But Adam Bossy trying to close in. Again, Adam trying to close in on Alan McCunman, Alan being the points leader. And you saw there that Twitch Mustang did a fabulous job wrapping that. I mean, I guess it's not even a line. It's not painted here, but wrapping that banking apron transition. There goes Cunman doing a good job of it as well. But the last time by, Cunman washed up the track. That gave Bossy the chance to get a little air on the nose. This time by, you can see dead center in the tire tracks. That's not going to get him any clean air, so he doesn't gain any time. And aero push here is huge at Dover. If you can make a different lane work, you absolutely want to do it. Only driver happy right now is that 17 with all the downforce.
Indeed, and I mean, there's a lot of tracks that we have visited earlier on this season, and Zachary Nerney going to go ahead and try to get a move done. This time it is incident-free. I know I didn't exactly approve of his moment earlier, but that's a pass I can certainly approve of. He gets it done nice and easy. Justin Baxter also getting another very nice move there on to Al Corey. Al Corey not having the greatest of restarts here. He looks like he might be in trouble losing yet another position to the 512 of Jim Hubbell behind. We'll see how this one is going to go ahead and play out.
Does Hubbell have a telescope sponsor? Nope, something of commentator's curse.
To see how close that ball is. That's a caution.
Commentator's curse, if I've ever seen it before. Trying to figure out what the paint scheme was, and I have indirectly forced him into a serious incident. So yeah, he hit the wall all by his lonesome there. So get one more look at it, and then we'll head back to live pictures here. Off turn number 4, he got a little bit high and out of the groove, so to speak, into the wall. I think that was Deal, who may have had a bad... No, it wasn't Deal. Who's the Coca-Cola car? Oh, that is Donald Ristow. Let's get one brief look from his perspective there. Yeah, just nowhere to go for him. Oh! Last second. Oh, jeepers creepers. Nobody's playing nice with him. Look at the left front on his car. He got worse off than I think than Hubbell did.
Yeah, I don't think a chiropractor can bend that tire back in the right direction. That's a rough one there. So that's definitely going to be... He's definitely going to take advantage of that quick repair that everybody has here at Triple Bypass Racing. Yeah, that's your tire's not supposed to face that direction. If there's anyone here who is joining us for the first time and you're not familiar with racing, well, first of all, we'd like to welcome you here. If it's your first time here, make sure it's not your last. But to go in and give you a little bit of education, tires are not supposed to be facing that way.
Yeah, there's camber. You know, camber, you tilt your tire into the banking to help it load in the corners. But there's the camber to the extreme, which you don't necessarily want to do there. But there is Hubbell exiting the pits. Looking at my back end, Hubbell did just take his fast repair, so he does. He's used that back up. But he did something very interesting, Patrick. He made sure that even though he took that fast repair, he did not take the tire set to go with it. So he preserved that tire set. That's something that a lot of drivers will do on accident, is they will take that extra set of tires and on the fast repair, then they're stuck for the rest of the race. So very good detailed decision there to make sure that was unchecked.
Yeah, which is always a very good thing. I mean, especially because he doesn't want his race to get any worse than it has already. So he's going to go ahead and just try to go ahead and have a clean restart here. We are still currently yellow. We are not going to go this lap. So maybe next time around we'll see if anything changes. And yep, sure enough, we are going to be 1-2 green here in the Culture Design 2025 here at the Monster Mile. And I mean, it's going to be a case of who can get another monster restart here at the Monster Mile. So we'll see who can gallop away here on this track. And honestly, I think Alan Kunman could have a really good restart here.
Yeah, it's very difficult. These tracks, another one that comes to mind is the Dover Speedway. Tracks where you're on the banking, so it's very hard to look left to see when the timing of the driver who's in control goes. You're looking left to see when the guy goes, but you also still have to look straight because you're actually, actively making a corner. So it does turn into a very difficult situation for the drivers to be in that spot. So we can see how it can be difficult for that outside lane to go, but for their sake, hopefully they can pull it off here heading into that. Actually, we ain't even going to go in the restart zone. We're going center at 3 and 4 this time by Caleb. Got him sleeping.
Indeed, and I think Alan Kunman in general was kind of having a bit of a nap there, as now we see the Twitch Mustang of Adam Bossi trying to go and take advantage of the not-so-monster restart there from Alan Kunman. And yep, sure enough, that move is as easy as you'd like it to be. And now Adam Bossi is up into second place. We have some cars going side by side here. Brad Kress in that Flow Sport Mustang. He's going to try. He's going to go for it. He's going to fight it out with that number 97 of Chad Winstead. But now he's even going to lose another position here to James Honeycutt, getting really close to the apron there, which isn't exactly advisable here at this track.
Absolutely.
And he's going to lose that next position.
Yeah, the banking, as we were talking about here many a time, it goes from 24 degrees of banking down to about, I don't know the exact of the apron, but I'm going to estimate around 2 to 3 degrees of banking. You go down there, that car will instantly just lose all of its grip, and the suspension will unload, and you'll want to spin out. That's really all that can happen there. So definitely got to get close to it, but not touch it. You can make inferences as to where that line would come in handy in other situations, but heading back up front, Caleb Brown has led, I believe, every lap thus far. I'm not going to make any indications of the perfect race. We're still way premature in that, but doing everything right thus far. I thought I saw maybe Sean Bradley kiss the wall there with Terry Brooks to his arrears.
Yeah, indeed. It'll be interesting to see if he can make any progress from this spot, although it looks like that number 77 is under some pressure there from Terry Brooks. And now we got some more battling here. Nicholas Deal trying to get past Justin Baxter here, and a bit of a wall tap there for Alex Squeer there. And that is not ideal here for that number 47. So he was potentially in contention for this battle, but he has dropped back a little bit from Nicholas Deal and Justin Baxter, who are going to go ahead and go out of here. Some more side-by-side action here as the 011 of Cody Ramsey here is going to go ahead and just fire it around, and he's got some positions, but now we got another battle just directly behind. John Crutchley and Matt Alfredson going to go ahead and try to do battle, but you got Matt Harmon just right behind, ready to take advantage of any of these drivers make a mistake. But he's got to be careful, because if he's too close and there's a spin, contact, or etc., he's the next one in line to be collateral damage.
Yeah, certainly the case here. Again, as we've seen at Dover on that last caution, not a lot of reaction time when anything happens. Not just reaction time, there's not a lot of space to go to evade situations when indeed they may or may not happen. So we'll see what happens there, but let's see what happens here. Driving down to the inside of the raceway, 58 of Baxter, getting underneath the 76 of Honeycutt, but Honeycutt will have the momentum off the top here. You can go side by side to play some pretty strong defense here at Dover from the outside lane, so it's something you can do to really make that outside guy use, the inside guy use his tires up. But that time by 76 will have to fall back in line, and Nicholas Deal in the Menards car here today. He is going to look low here, try to get the run off the corner, but he'll fall back into lane here. Lap number 40. Get a little bit later of a race start here, Patrick. What do we have? 5:22 virtual time now. We're racing as of the end of March. So I don't know when the sun sets in March, but we're not going to end at night because we don't have lights. That would be terrible, but we may be pushing the brims of sunset here, depending Again, I don't know the end of March when the sun happens and all that fun stuff, but it will get progressively darker here, to say the least.
I think daylight savings time would have already happened there, so it's going to be a bit of an earlier sunset. So I don't think we're going to see here in this race unless time progression is cranked up drastically here, as we do have the number 76 of James Honeycutt trying to go ahead and cut his way through the field and try to get closer to the front, as the monster car is a monster slam into the wall at the monster mile. But luckily, I do think that these drivers are going to have to deal with pitch black conditions, because I think the sun would be setting around 7 p.m. local time.
Okay, there we go. And we're only estimating at green flag about a half-hour race, so there we go. Plenty of daylight to be had. And what do we got going up here? We got Kress in the number 9 car driving underneath SVG in the form of Chad Winstead there, but falls back in line. It seems though, I just called you Brad for a second. Seems though, Patrick, that the outside lane gets the momentum, the inside lane has the shorter distance, so depending on how you can run your lanes, again, you could play some pretty good defense here on the various lines available.
Yeah, it's kind of like heads or tails, honestly, on which one is going to succeed in a particular instance. So we'll just kind of have to see who's going to win in this battle, because, I mean, each approach has their pros and cons, but what doesn't have any pros at all is slamming into the wall like Terry Brooks just did there, the number 23. The race sponsor putting his culture design, trying to put culture designs on the barriers here, as he has a meaty smack against the wall. And surprisingly, he does keep that position, but somebody who is trying to get a position, but I don't think he will get it potentially, is the Wonder driver of Adam Shaw in that Wonder brand number 55 Chevrolet. He's going to try to get a move done on the John Crutchley, but it is much easier said than that. But yeah, you were talking earlier about this man taking some lines that make us wonder what his thought processes are, but they seem to be working for him.
I mean, in the real world, and even in the sim, more so in really long races, super full field with the track really rubbers in, you will see drivers doing that. But like I said, I remember a couple weeks at Kern County, again, a paperclip track. We saw him running the wall at a paperclip track, mainly to get out of the way, but it was just kind of an eyeball-raising moment where we just couldn't not look at it. There's certain things in life that you don't want to look at, but you just can't take your eyes off of. That was kind of that vibe, but maybe he does that for the TV time. You never quite know, but currently trying to make the move underneath Cody Ramsey. How do you think Cody Ramsey gets through life with that last name? How many idiot sandwich, expletive-filled references do you think he gets on a daily basis?
Probably quite a lot. And a lot of people probably asking where the lamb sauce is, and I don't think you're going to find it in the barriers there as he gets really close.
He was about to just call Adam Shaw an idiot sandwich because he almost ran into the back of him off of the corner there. Adam Shaw really getting the good run. Now he's going to cross over, go down low here, driving on in. He's going to do the Dover slide job. That wasn't on my bingo card, but that was actually a pretty good move. And I guess Naj is the idiot sandwich. He turns Ramsey around. And we're still wrecking. There's Risto and there is Alfredson there.
Going from talking about idiot sandwiches to being part of a NASCAR sandwich here, or an ARCA sandwich more accurately. So let's just get a look at what happens here. He just gets tapped and domino effect. It just goes downhill from there, spinning around like a ballerina. And that is definitely not what you want to happen here. Just a little bit of a tap there and boop.
Go back one more time. So you see here, Naj saw the Crutchley. He saw the opportunity. I'm gonna fill it in. I'm gonna fill it in, and it was gonna be tight. I think he would have made it work. However, he bounced off the apron, and when he bounced off the apron, that just shot him up the track. So, just the irony of the situation. Gordon Ramsay. If you look up "idiot sandwich" GIF, you'll see something. He'll put 2 pieces of bread surrounding somebody's head. And I'm sure that one hopefully will take over the Discord later. But this is a very, very difficult time, Patrick. 1 set of tires. You're in a fuel window to make the end of the race, I'm pretty confident on. Do you want to burn the set of tires now? And it looks as though the answer is a resounding no, except for Sean Bradley, and who is that, the 97 of Winstead. Let's see.
I would probably try to keep the tires on my car a little bit longer, because with one set of tires, what I would ideally do is I would like to try to at least get half race distance and then try to make the swap, which, granted, my oval racing experience is nothing even remotely compared to these drivers, so they'll have a better insight. But yeah, sure enough, we do have quite a few drivers coming into the pits. About roughly a little under half the field has decided to swap the tires. But our race leaders from earlier, who have kind of been leading this race since the get-go, of Caleb Brown, Adam Bossy, and Alan Kudman, have opted to stay out.
So I'll tell you, so here's the oval insight, Pat. I think I may have talked to you off air. So this is not a shot to the league. It's just what happens in these races. It's happened on official. It happens in league. It's just a nuance of it. When you have one tire set races, they a lot of times on oval turn into a lottery. You don't know when to take that set of tires. Now, if you're Caleb Brown, Adam Bossy, you're banking on more cautions. However, there is a possibility in these, smaller-ish fields, you can have this thing run green to the end. It's very well possible. Caleb Brown, Adam Bossy, they're going to be up a creek. Alan Kunman, if that happens, because they're going to have to pit under green. There is a possibility that this runs green to the end, and that is what I think Winstead and Bradley and everyone who changed tires, they're banking on, all right, we've gone 70 laps before, we've had races run to the end, I think it's going to happen, and we're going to be sitting pretty if it does. It's literally nothing more than a calculated gamble.
Indeed, and I mean, it just shows that you don't even have to be at Vegas to gamble here. So we're gonna see
casino in the backstretch.
That is true. So I mean, hey, you could just walk right across the street and go gamble. So we'll see who's gonna win the gamble, and ultimately who's gonna lose out here, as we're about to go racing here for the restart here at the Culture Designs 125. Over to you, Corey.
Absolutely here, and the opposite side of that gamble is if a caution comes out prior to anybody else making their pit stop, Sean Bradley and company are going to be up a creek. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the last 72 laps of this race works in that restart zone. I'll say Bossy got the best restart you can imagine here, and he actually has a whisker of the lead here coming into 1 and 2 from the outside. He timed that perfectly. I hope not too perfectly to where he gets a penalty for it.
He has actually been really strong on the restarts, and not just in tonight, but tonight especially. But he's been quick on the restarts all season long. So, I mean, it's not super surprising. But
Bernie in the wall.
Yeah, it's getting very dicey here through certain parts of the track. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't have another caution just after the one we just wrapped up on. And now Zachary Nerney is going to go ahead. He's got two cars pretty much right behind him. One is a bit of a terrifying prospect. The number 58 there of Justin Baxter, trying to go ahead and get his way up into the lead. Or at least, well, he wants to get into the lead, but he's a bit far back for that. But right now, he'll take it one step at a time, and he'll try to get past. But Nicholas Deal is just right behind, waiting for something to happen. Speaking of the lead, Adam Bossy is going to go ahead and try to hold on for Caleb Brown. But Caleb Brown is trying to go ahead and get that picture-perfect overtake in that Polaroid Mustang. He's going to try. They're neck and neck, but ultimately the higher line seems to be the more advantageous one at this stage of the race.
Yeah, the momentum is on the top, and especially on these slightly aging tires, you need where the momentum is. And obviously the perfect race is now gone as Nerney, again, getting sideways here, using everything and he has for skill and then some, trying to make something happen here. But Al Corey, someone who's known for saving the tires, and Al Corey is somebody, I think that was Squire hard in the wall. Al Corey, someone known for saving the tires, using the long run approach, also known for making terrible pit calls, but he hasn't screwed it up yet. Starting to come back and show some speed towards Nerney, who's obviously driven like a madman out of the He's just driven like a madman here. You're better on the quick wit tonight. I don't have it.
I mean, it does help that I do have a nondescript energy drink beverage next to me, so that does help a little bit. But, I mean, overall, this has been a very entertaining race here. So when the energy is on track, it is pretty easy to keep that energy going on through. And something we haven't really talked about here tonight is the heat cycles on these tires, because we've had a few restarts now. And I think managing the heat cycles, especially for these drivers that are on the older tire, is going to be a key part of this race here, as we do see just ahead. It is the number 45 of Al Corey. Gonna go ahead and get ahead of Zachary Nerney here for P8. We'll see if he can continue to improve up the road here, as there's battles. There's two wide battles happening, pretty much one right in front of the other. It is like a small grid there, a small four-way grid there. And this could be very perilous.
Yeah, and you can see that's Dylan Freeman. I can't believe we haven't spoke of him yet. There goes a big move to the inside for the 77. And I'm actually surprised how little time the 77 has gained. I don't know if he's playing it conservative. Again, he has the fresher tires, has the fuel to go to the end. And I almost wonder if he's trying to save those tires as best as possible, because if a caution comes out and everybody else gets to change the tires that they've saved, you know, he's out to lunch. He has to make work what he has. So maybe saving right now and not pushing could be the strat at play. Sean Bradley up to the 10th spot, highest of those who pit. The other driver, Chad Winstead, directly to his arrears. Some racing going on in the back. Again, Dylan Freeman, who is someone else we haven't talked about. Cameron Kane, the Aflac Mobile. And then Mark Jarrell, I feel like he was in an incident at some point in the race, trying to come back from that, going door to door, and the Cinnabon car will pass the insurance car.
Indeed. Insurance can cover a lot of things, but getting overtaken, you're fair, very fair, but it doesn't cover getting overtaken by the Cinnabon machine, as the Cinnabon machine is blinking in and out of existence, going yeah, I mean, teleportation is cool, but not when you're in such a tightly packed ARCA series race here, as we see some cars trying to jockey for position here. Just about halfway through the race, a little over halfway, I believe, mathematically. So we'll see who can go ahead and improve. And the question is when are these lead drivers, are essentially our top 3 to top 4 potentially, when are they going to pit? Because I know there's a good chunk of this field that is yes to pit.
Now let's do a little bit of mathematics here. And you can see that the fall off is that they're of about 0.8 of a second. So that's actually not as much as I would have thought it would have been. But, you know, still a good chunk of change that you're losing each lap that goes by. So comparatively, Sean Bradley, he's running slower. Now he is in clean real estate right now. This backs up the point I was making. His last time by a 23.4. He's on fresh tires, running slower than the leader. So he literally is, again, using as little tires as possible, again, fully banking on the fact that this is going to run green to the end. Because, Patrick, here is a very important statistic that we need to take heed of. 47 seconds is how long it takes to go enter the pits here, do your stop, and exit. That's not including the slow down process. That's not including the speed up process. So probably closer to 50 some odd seconds. We're running 23 seconds. That's 2.5 laps you're going to lose to pit here. So if these drivers have to pit under green, that is humongous.
Indeed, yeah. And like you were saying earlier, this pit strategy is always a gamble, which is fitting because we talked about earlier how there's a casino right next to the track, and we are seeing some drivers who are willing to risk it all here, trying to get some very good overtakes here, as is going to be the number 92 of Nicholas Steele, just getting on past the Flow Racing machine of Brad Kress. And Brad Kress is going to try to get back into an even flow here, trying to retake the position from the Menard Chevrolet SS. just up the road ahead, but if he's not too careful, there is a fellow Mustang that is going to take a position. That is Chad Winstead making that move as easy as possible. But you have Brad Krause, who's trying to make it as hard as possible for him to keep that position that he just took. But ultimately, it's not quite enough, and Chad Winstead is up in the 7th.
And Winstead, again, this is the strategy variance. Winstead and Bradley, they were running nose to tail, but it's, like as I said, it looks as though Bradley is conserving and Winstead is going full bananas. So again, how is that going to work? But here we come, first pit stop on the day. That is out of about the 8th spot. That's Nicholas Deal. This is coming to 50 laps to go, or 51. So again, I estimated about 80 laps on fuel. We've had a caution or two, so maybe a couple extra on top of that. But this is the pivotal moment of the race, is will this cycle of green flag stops fully complete without a yellow flag? If it does, we're looking at that 97, we're looking at that 77. This race will fall right in their lap.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, they already have a pretty sizable gap to Terry Brooks, and they'll just get a free pit stop too, essentially. So yeah, safety car can really, as it always does, the cautions do shake up the dynamics of a race, especially at this stage. And sure enough, there is one.
Well, Nicholas Deal is going to be punching everything that is punchable, and it looks as though Mr. Nerney, did he screw up entering the pits? No, he got Avril Lavigne.
Ooh, let's go to get a look. Up, and yeah, pretty much.
And
just
then,
getting
somebody
tapped
else.
around there. Oh!
Somebody else got a little residual there. There goes the big Lupa. Who was the one? Oh, Wonder Bread lost a part there.
Oh.
Lost a clip, but so that caution basically just ruined Winstead and Bradley's race, because now they're going to have to battle with 20 lap tires when everybody else is completely fresh. Maybe they can salvage, but maybe they're just going to be coming up to bat basically down 2 strikes when everybody else is starting with a fresh count. But everyone coming into the pits here, this is sub 50 laps to go. This turns off all the strategy, Patrick. Turns off the tire conservation, turns off the fuel strat. This is just going to be go, go, go. Fastest car for the last 40 some odd laps.
Indeed, yeah, it's just going to be pedal to the metal, full blast, full speed here. I mean, especially because this is pretty much what we were talking about here, that this race would pretty much just heavily benefit our front runners if a caution came out of this stage. So, and sure enough, we'll just kind of have to see who can capitalize on it. And yeah, like you said, strategy pretty much doesn't exist anymore. It's going to be full speed, full power, give it all you got, and try to get the best position humanly possible. Management can pretty much get thrown right out the window at this stage, because now it's full push.
Exactly that here. So again, we saw the fall off be about maybe 0.8 to a second. So at this point, maybe the fall off is 1 to 10s, maybe 3 at worst. So you might be able to hang on via this arrow push for a little bit. But Adam Bossy did get out of the pits first, which is big, because he did manage to hold off and beat that charge that Caleb Brown put. Remember, Adam got the lead off the restart. Caleb gave one good shot and then basically fell back and never was able to surmount another one. But we'll see how this works out. This may be Caleb Brown's shot to get by Bossy, is using these slightly slower cars potentially as a pick. But I guess ultimately how slow are they actually going to be is what we'll find out.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see how this restart is going to play out, because you have quite a few drivers on older tires who did pit in a while ago. But then you have a lot of drivers just directly behind this top 3 here who have brand new tires, and they're going to get ready to go here. We'll see who can make the most of those soft tires here. It'll be a double file restart here, side by side, getting ready to kick things off. And honestly, I think it's pretty much going to be between Adam Bossi and Caleb Brown here, although I do think that Adam Bossi is in a more advantageous position coming into this corner.
Adam Bossi was able to use that outside lane on the opening, on the prior restart, but very, very early pre-zone on the accelerator is Winstead. That gives a little bit of a buffer, which any buffer is a good buffer. Bradley is going to fall back in line, or is he going to try to charge? Remember, he saved his tires more than Winstead did, and now he's going to try to take advantage of it to the outside. Bossi going to follow through.
Indeed, and we know Adam Bossi was in a really good start, a really good place to start this restart here. And he's already trying to make moves, trying to get the most out of those brand new tires. It is just now a race of pure pace here in the later stages of the 125 here. He's going to go in and try to squeeze past. Oh, that's a big one.
Somebody on their lid, which at Dover is not something that you utter too many times. Al Corey involved. I don't think he was the one on his lid, but we'll find that out. It was, I believe it was the 48 that was upside down. But let's try to find some kind of inkling as to what instigated this through the foggy blimp. Oh, it was on. Oh my God. I don't care what happened. I want to go on board the 48 first, and then we'll try to dissect the cause.
I mean, I hope he wasn't in VR for that, because that is an instantaneous motion sickness generator right there. As we get another look of this incident here.
81 washed up the track, and let's just get one more perspective. So yeah, see, the 81 washed up on those older tires, and now look at this. He literally ramped. Gerald, Naj literally ramped up off of Al Corey's car.
Oh, jeez.
But that all instigated off of Gerald getting tight, again, on those little bit older tires. He got tight, washed up the track, made contact with the driver ahead of him, well, above him, and that just kind of started the steamroll effect. And the big one has hit the Dover Motor Speedway, but Sean Bradley did take the lead. Winstead did fall back to third, which you may consider possibly a good thing here, because that means he'll start on the inside lane. But if anybody can make the outside lane work, it's going to be Bossi, and he has the benefit of the fresh tires.
And that he does, so we'll see if he can make the most of those brand new tires. I mean, he had a really good start last time around, and now he's going to be pretty much in prime position to take the lead off of Sean Bradley here in that number 77. So we'll see which of the Mustangs leads after this lap, or after we get going green here. But yeah, I mean, that was a very chaotic wreck. Hopefully everybody is okay. I know force feedback can make your steering wheel do a lot of crazy things, and hopefully everybody is okay after that, because that was a gnarly incident.
Danica Patrick, and you can roast her career all you want, but she actually did instigate something that took off really in the racing world, and I do it virtually, as do many people. There was a wreck she had at Daytona where just before she hit the wall, she took her hands off the wheel and kind of crossed her chest, and that way she didn't, for that exact reason, didn't get, a broken wrist when the wheel does its crazy things. People kind of laughed at her for it, but now you'll see that almost every time when a driver is about to crash, they do that. They put their hands on their chest, they keep them off the wheel, and to that point, these direct drive wheels, man, some people have 9, 12, 18, 22 Newton meter wheels. You literally can do some serious damage to your body if those snap at a high rate of force. But all the while, we're coming to 4 40 laps to go here at the Monster Mile, and Sean Bradley is going to do whatever he can to make those older tires work. Entering the restart box. When will he go? Will he try to go early and catch Bossy off guard, or will he go closer in the box? No, he will go early. That didn't work for him at all because the inside lane caught ultra sleeping there.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, we have seen that earlier on in the race with, I believe it was the Terrifier car, who I believe is, I'm not sure exactly where he is at the moment, but what I do know is that Adam Bossy is going to go in and try to get a move done here. He's got a good amount of speed here. He's pretty much tucked in right behind that number 77 Duff Beer machine. He's going to try to get it going, try to go ahead and get this pass done. Adam Bossy is on much better tires at this stage of the race, but so far Sean Bradley isn't making any mistakes here. He is putting on some really good defense as Terry Brooks is now joined the party and getting ready for potentially getting a slice of the action.
And it's going to be, well, I won't even bother finishing that dramatic statement here, because down to the inside goes the 83 of Adam Bossy, and he will try to clear, and I think he will. Bossy is going to, and oh my goodness, Caleb Brown, the dominator of the race, huge impact, has lost the front end of his vehicle and damaged it heavily. We stay green for the moment. Remember, he was the dominator of the race, and that will have no victory lane in store for him tonight.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate there for a driver who is pretty much in the driver's seat for a majority of this race. But yeah,
he hit the apron. Get one more quick look at it. He bounced off the apron. Boom, that got him loose. That got him loose. It snapped. Boom, wall.
Yep, and that's pretty much any chance of him winning pretty much just thrown straight out of the window. Also, on my end, there's a few cars.
Yeah, one to caution. I wonder if that was the caution?
Maybe. I do have on my timing table that there's two cars that have been hit with a meatball flag.
Yeah.
The number 47 of Alex Squeer and Caleb Brown have been hit with a meatball flag, telling them they need to come into the pits. And let's go ahead and get a look at this here. This is what brought up the
76 of Honeycutt. Yeah, we are having not just single part incidents, we are having double part incidents here now. On board, this is James Honeycutt, and he just got tight, and it corrected, and then boom, Squire just really no ability to react to that. Best person for that caution, that was going to be Caleb Brown, because he'll be able to get that fast repair.
Which is good for him. I mean, we've seen a few of those actually used here tonight at Dover. So here's another one. Yeah, just kind of not enough reaction time there. I mean, then again, he didn't really have anywhere to go, even if he wanted to get a good reaction there to try to avoid that incident. It was pretty much either you go to the apron and potentially risk spinning out, or just going straight to the wall.
What a view this is.
Yeah, weight reduction is a very important thing across many forms of motorsport, but that's not the way you want to do it.
We got one fast repair, we got two fast repairs, and let's just go for the trio. Boom. So all three of those vehicles came in mangled. All three of those vehicles leave pristine.
Yes, I mean, luckily they have the fast repair. Otherwise, I mean, those repairs probably would have taken several, probably even dozens of laps to potentially get fixed. So yeah, thankfully they have that. But if they mess up again, then they don't have that next quick repair, because you only get one of them here at Triple Bypass Racing. So if you make another mistake like that, you're pretty much just straight out of luck, and I would not recommend going to the casino that night.
Yeah, not at all. But again, if you like what you see here on PTR TV, make sure you like and subscribe here. Again, on our mission to 1,900 subscribers. and can use your help there. We will be live, if you're watching this on the day of, we'll be live tomorrow night, which is Wednesday, with the Elbows Out Racing League. You'll hear Patrick's voice along with Brad Dalton give you those calls. I'll be back on Thursday with the Elbows Out, not Elbows Out, the E-Car late model stock, so they'll be at North Wilkesboro. And I think we're simulcasting that night, and we'll be covering the Triple Bypass ARCA series that night as well. So we'll be doing double duty, and then we'll be back next week to start it all over. So again, a big time on the channel. To our biggest broadcast of the year coming up in 2 weeks' time, the 29th annual All-American 400. So again, a busy time on the channel. Make sure you stay subscribed and updated for all that we have going on here. But coming to what is now 33 laps to go in the race, and Bossy on the front row along with Terry Brooks, our series sponsor here, trying to make something happen and get that sponsored vehicle in the Dover victory circle. But coming through turn number 4 here, when will we go? We'll go pre-box here on the loud pedal, gets himself a jump. Adam Bossy gets himself 3-car length advantage.
Indeed, and I mean, Adam Bossy's just been so strong in the restarts here tonight. So, I mean, that's exactly what you need. You need a good restart here, and there's not a lot of racing left to go here in this race, and the number 77 is going to get the move done onto Alan Cunman. That is Sean Bradley trying to go and make that move stick. Now, we do remember that the outside line does have a good amount of a momentum boost, but that doesn't mean it's the be-all, end-all line, as on the inside line, it is Alan Kunman trying to go ahead and get past here, trying to make that move and make it stick, but just not quite there yet. It's getting close. It is within mere inches before the move is made, and it looks like he might get it coming into turn 1 here, and it looks like he's gonna get it. Yeah, it looks like he's got that move, but Sean Bradley isn't giving it up yet. Sean Bradley has a lot of straight line speed here tonight, and he's been putting that to good use.
Ironically enough, the last time around the raceway, Sean Bradley was actually faster than the leader, and that's to be true this time by as well. Bringing up the lap graphic here. Well, second best, because actually Terry Brooks just ran a banger of a lap. But what I was about to say prior to Bossy taking the lead was, with each lap that goes by, it becomes increasingly more difficult for those fresh tires to take advantage of the fresh tires, because they'll start to equalize out, run essentially the same speed. So if Bradley was able to hold on maybe 3 or 4 or 5 more laps maximum, that may have been enough for him to be able to maybe keep the lead and win this race. But we'll never know now, because that obviously was not how the cookie crumbled here. And whoa, Winstead really trying to crumble the cookie, and more so smush and destroy it there. Huge wall off of 4.
Yeah, that was not ideal there. I mean, it's so close to the end of the race here for him, and he just wants to try to keep it up. And I mean, if you want any chance to score a point, you got to come across that line at the checkered flag, and having moments like that isn't really going to do any favors. Probably going to give you a few Code Brown moments as well, but we are seeing some fast and furious racing here tonight, and it looks like Caleb Brown is trying to make a move on the Honeycutt, as these cameras just show you just how fast these cars are racing through the Monster Mile.
Yeah, Caleb Brown on his comeback tour trying to get through underneath Honeycutt. Remember, Honeycutt just involved in an incident, and there's Al Corey. Remember, he was decimated on the backstretch by Naj Crutchley there, and got that backup car. Dylan Freeman, who's been a complete no-name here today, pulling down to the inside, which not sure if that was intentional or not. Yes, I think it was, just to get out of the way of some of these faster vehicles. Caleb Brown, again, you have to feel for him. Let's see what the statistic is. 52 laps led. That probably close to the race high, but probably get himself back in the top 10, but without anything cataclysmic, that's probably going to be the cap for him.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's not the case for him, but yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that's pretty much going to be all she wrote there. He had such a promising race, but I mean, that's just kind of how racing goes. You can have the best race ever, You could theoretically lead 124 out of 125 laps here, but it just takes one incident just to kind of throw it all into the bin as these drivers are still racing. Getting pretty close to the wall there is Chad Winstead at number 97. But, I mean, if Brad Kress gets back into that flow state that we've seen him in before, multiple points of this season, then he could get a pass here, and it looks like he's trying to get the pass here. It's Mustang on Mustang. He's going deep in the inside, getting close to the apron. And it looks like Winstead might not just lose one, but he might lose another position to Matt Harmon, who is just right next to him there. And it looks like he's going to try to get another pass. And this might be a bit of a transitional phase here, Corey, where we might start seeing the inside line kind of have a bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, at this point in the race, the track temp going down as we start to run further into the sunset here. That puts the track temp down. And here on the concrete tracks don't have the propensity to be as temperature sensitive, but still any amount of grip is surely going to be appreciated and noticed. But the Wonder Mobile, Adam Shaw, with everything he's gone through today, how he is in the top 10 is an interesting course of events, but great driving by him to do that, using that outside lane. That is not the outside lane at its finest. That is the great value loaf of bread there that got smushed by the guy in the back room who hates his job. But he'll fall back to the 11th spot. Going a little further up, you have Kunman trying once more to get by Sean Bradley, who is playing the defense of champions here, and super tight-nose racing there. This may be the best chance Kunman's had.
Best chance indeed. He's going to go ahead and try to make the run here and try to close in the gap. He will get past Sean Bradley, but there is quite a considerable gap between himself and Terry Brooks, so he's going to want to close in that gap if he wants to go ahead and take a look at the lead here, as Adam Bossy now is going to be under pressure. Terry Brooks had a quicker lap last time around, so we'll see if Terry Brooks can get a win here. The race spots are going to try to make another comeback to victory lane here, but with 18 laps to go, you're starting to run out of time here.
Yeah, definitely the case. Every lap that goes by, of course, that's just amps up the pressure, and as each lap goes by, these cars get worse and worse to drive as they start to decay in terms of their tire. We're currently 30 laps in. They'll have to run about 50 on this set of Goodyears, and starting to spread out just a little bit here. Caleb Brown, you just got a fresh car and you're instantly trying to destroy the thing.
Yeah, not exactly the brightest idea for someone who's trying to have a really good recovery drive. But, I mean, hey, sometimes, I mean, you just got to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, just got going for broke at this point. I mean, I think he's cemented the fact that I'm in 10th, so. But there is also the other racer's logic, Patrick, where if you know that your car is probably going to finish in a certain spot, your goal as a racer is to make sure it finishes in that spot at least. The last thing you want to do is take a 10th place car and finish 15th with it.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a driver who has had such a good run here today for the most part. But yeah, the incident earlier just really threw a wrench into the works, as now it is going to be a tight battle here. We're seeing some more battling here from Chad Winstead, trying to get a move done on to Matt Harmon here. And I mean, with 14 laps to go, I mean, the laps are going to start ticking away. Because, I mean, these aren't very long laps here compared to what you may see at a road circuit. If this were the Elbows Out broadcast, you would think, oh, 14 laps, that's quite a bit. That's, you know, granted, in some categories, laps are about a minute and a half each. But here, I mean, we're seeing the lap times. They were super quick around this track. So what is now 13 laps to go really is not a lot of time. So you really got to try to make your move sooner rather than later.
Yeah, 5 minutes or so is what we're estimating here, and not a lot of time. But Terry Brooks has found his second breath of fresh air, his second wind as he gets right to the back bumper of Bossy. Bossy, got to be careful. He really hit the apron there. That washed him up the track, kind of scraped the wall. Saw some sparks flying, not like a Taylor Swift original album, but sparks were flying. Opens the door. Here we go, side by side for the race lead with 11 laps to go. We know how good the outside has been. Can Brooks make it happen? Can Brooks continue the fight to the inside? Bossy's starting to fall off, but he has that defensive line, and he will use it to his advantage.
But that does show that Terry Brooks has got the pace here at this stage of the race. And while the defense is happening, Adam Bossy is just burning up more of that tire. So, I mean, if you're not too careful, then you could just lose that tire essentially entirely. And then Terry Brooks is going to have a massive advantage in terms of grip, so he can potentially take that riskier line, and because he'll have more tire grip, he could make it stick here. And that is the logic that we're seeing some of these others try to give a go, as is Matt Harmon trying to make it up the inside here. Bit of a wiggle there from Chad Winstead, and a pass for the lead has taken place. Terry Brooks jumping into the lead, but Adam Bossy's trying to go ahead and get the retake. He's going to try, gets a little wiggly there, losing a few tenths, but the inside line is pretty rapid here at this stage of the race, and they're going to go side by side. You can barely fit a soda can between these cars, and they're still going side by side. Chevrolet versus Ford, a rivalry as old as time, and they're still going at it.
I'll say I'm very surprised at how well Bossy was able to bite to the inside. He didn't make that outside lane his work as well, but I don't think Terry Brooks has run the outside lane much. Maybe it took him a lap or two to acclimate to it. He's now clear, and now Terry Brooks can run the lane he chooses to run. Gets back to the bottom of the racetrack, really shut the door, slammed the dirty air right on the nose of the 83, and that may be all she wrote, but as we always say, never count anything too early, and we may have a caution flag.
Oh, yeah, we definitely do. Oh, my.
And what would a caution be without the boss man in it? Mr. Al Corey. His race not going the way he would have desired. We'll have to click back here a skosh. I think it started Sean Brett. Oh my goodness. So what happened here, the 92 Adil hit the apron, that washed him up into Bradley, and then it just turned into an ultimate stack-up domino effect off the corner. But again, Nicholas Deal, we've seen it over and over again, drivers hitting the apron and paying the price for it, and you might be able to even see it here from Al's perspective. There it is, up the track, hard right-hand hook, and again, the amount of time for Al to process that, and then, interestingly, who hit him well after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, that's a massive crash there. Whew. Not as massive as the one we saw earlier where we had the car completely upside down on its lid, but yeah, that's still definitely not the race that you would have wanted, or definitely not the way you would have wanted to end the race here. It is 5 laps to go here at Dover, and man, this has been a chaotic one, hasn't it, Corey?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming to 4 to go, so my expectation here is that this one is going to turn into what I call a regulation green-white checker. So most likely we'll get 1 to go this time by, and that will put us, of course, with 2 to go for our green flag, but that'll be on lap 123. So we will finish this at 125. This is not a triggered green-white checker, so that by that logic, we still actually have an additional 2 opportunities to take this into further overtime. But again, very impressive for Bossy to make the comeback, run side by side. I wasn't expecting that, but now the tires will cool. That will get a additional heat cycle on them, and it opens the door. Again, if Brooks can get a good restart, it's probably his, but Bossy's been the only one to make that outside work on a restart.
Yeah, we'll just kind of have to see here. I mean, like you said, it's going to be pretty much a mad dash to the finish line here. So we'll see if Terry Brooks can hold off Adam Bossy, or if Adam Bossy is going to prove that he is the boss of Dover here tonight and try to get back into that position. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fast and furious restart here with only 2 laps to go once we get going here, Corey. And honestly, I think we're going to see some absolute cinema here on the final lap.
Yeah, we'll see what happens indeed as we take that 1 to green signal. So we'll get doubled up, stacked up, ready to go, green flag racing. And will Terry Brooks get the restart he needs? I mean, we've seen going early be the call. Of course, Adam Bossy can't go too early because otherwise he will get penalized, but he kind of knows probably what Terry is looking to do. But just because you know what's going to happen doesn't necessarily mean you can react to it in the way that you need. But we'll see what happens coming through 3 and 4 here. Never count out row number 2 in case anything happens to these 2 leaders on this green-white checker restart. Coming through, let's see, the pace car pulls off. They can go at Terry Brooks's disclosure here whenever he wants to go. There he goes on the loud pedal. Bossy's going to fall back, and actually Kunman's going to have a stab at second.
Yeah, he's going to go in and give it a go here. And good restart there, like you said, for Terry Brooks.
Whoa.
And this is going to be a mad dash to a line, and it is getting sketchy here. To quote you from earlier, they are going for broke here. They're leaving it all on the line. And it is going to be the white flag here from Barney, and this is going to be a massive dash, and there's almost a wiggle, almost some contact there between P2 and P3. It is going to be fast and furious, but I think Terry Brooks has got it. He's only got 2 more corners left to navigate. And this battle is still continuing on here as they round the final corner of the racetrack. And it's going to be tight. It's going to be narrow. But one thing's for certain, Terry Brooks wins the Culture Designs 125 here at Dover. What a race from him today.
Yeah, I saw on that restart, he did not get going through 1 and 2 on the first lap of that restart. I thought Adam Bossy was going to actually have a chance at it on the restart, but that did not come into fruition here. So Terry Brooks will get a win on the season. I'm not sure if he already has won one. I guess I could check out the points really quickly, but either way, the race sponsor getting himself a win, that is always something. Nope, this will be his first win of the season, and that'll help his causes out from that 5th spot. So our congratulations go to him here at Dover in that Culture Designs Chevy SS, burning it down and hitting the wall, making sure that it passes inspection.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, it was a very well-driven race there from Terry Brooks, and I mean, this was really a massive race of attrition as we have our results here running through our top 10. It is Terry Brooks, Adam Bossy, Alan Kundman, Brad Kress, Chad Winstead, Nicholas Deal, Caleb Brown, Cameron Kane, James Honeycutt, and Alex Squeer rounding out our top 10.
And then our second page results is as follows. Adam Shad, the Wonder Bread Mobile, in 11th. We got Dylan Freeman in 12th, Matt Harmon in 13th, Matt Alfredson in 14th. I don't think we mentioned him too much. John Crutchley was upside down at one point. Donald Ristow 16th, and we have Benson Bradley. That tire strat worked until it didn't. He falls back to 18th. Al Corey, 2 massive crashes in 19th. Baxter in 20th. And then just to round out our last page of results, we got Nerney, who certainly made things interesting early in the affair. Hubble, that he'll have to use the telescope to be able to see the front of the pack. He was in 22nd. Gerald Ramsey and Samson Lewis shotgun on the field here today. But let's go ahead and start our post-race show here. And we'll go to Victory Circle and find our race winner. And again, our series sponsor here in the form of Terry Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very well-driven race from him here today. And yep, there he is.
All right, Terry, our series sponsor here with Culture Designs. You have been looking for that elusive win to get into Victory Circle. You did it here today. Adam Bossy put on a good fight, but you surged. You made that run to the inside. You put it in victory lane. How's this one feel, man?
Man, it feels great. That first run, I felt like the longer we got in that first run before everybody come down pit road, I felt like we were catching that lead group. It was Adam and Caleb, and I'm like, I think I've done a good job saving the tires once we've done our pit stop. Seen that I actually had a little more pressure I could put on the right rear. So I changed my line on that last set of runs just to try to rebalance the right side tires. And 15 to go, I started putting pressure on Adam just to see how much he had saved, and he picked it up a good bit, and I'm like, all right, well, this is going to get tough. And I think it was 10 to go range. He kind of bounced off the wall, and I'm like, all right, he's pushed it to all he's got. This is going to open up the hole, and it did, and we was able to come out victorious. So it was a good night.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, there was that caution that came out at lap 50, and it came out, and we saw a couple drivers pit, and then you guys came probably within, I would estimate, 5 to 10 laps of the green flag pit window, and that caution came out. One driver did already pit. How close were you to pulling the trigger prior to that caution coming in and kind of throwing the race upside down?
So I'd been saving fuel under every caution. I had 10 laps when that caution come out that we all come down pit road. I had 10 laps, and I was going to have to come in. And that was the window. I was just going to push it all the way to the last chance I had, hoping that there was another caution. If we wouldn't have had so many cautions at the first part of the race, I would have pitted at that halfway when I think Chad and Sean did, because that would have just made the most sense based on the tire wear from practice.
Well, luckily it didn't, because Sean Bradley would have walked, or Winstead probably would have walked into a win. Didn't happen. We head to IRP next week. We went to Irwindale last week. IRP, basically the slightly bigger brother of Irwindale. So what do you feel heading into that place?
IRP I tend to run really well with. I have not ran this car there, but it's just a fun track. If you manage your tires, a lot of people, you're running up there on the top, and there's actually grip down below if you're just patient. You kind of let the track come to you, and we have a lot of luck in that scenario. So kind of depending on how the track temperatures and all that plays out for what we're going to race, I think we got a good shot to maybe have another win.
All right, man. We'll see what you can do here. And again, the Culture Designs car, Culture Designs race. Gotta love when it all comes together. Any final words before we let you go?
I just thank Triple Bypass for putting everything together. Y'all doing the broadcast. I really love going back and watching it. Helps me improve as a driver, and just fans and parents and kids and everybody else that gets to watch it. We appreciate all y'all do. Great broadcast.
I absolutely appreciate the kind words, brother. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Thank you, sir. Y'all have a great one.
And now, of course, with every winner is a runner-up, and that is Adam Bossy, and he's with Patrick.
Hey Adam, welcome back to the podium circle here. It was a tough race out there today. Multiple cautions, varied tire strategies in terms of when drivers would pit, but it was pretty much full speed once you guys made your pit stops. How did you find the track out there today?
It was a little bit tighter than what I probably would have liked, but like normal, the car kind of came to me in the long run, and I was feeling pretty good about it. And then we got on tires, and I knew it was going to be a pretty aggressive race to the finish. And I can't say I was expecting to battle that hard, but I'm glad Terry and I had a real clean, fun battle there at the end. And I couldn't ask for a better Dover race, probably.
Yeah, I was getting really tight between you guys there, especially towards the end. Just taking a look at our schedule here. Next time around, we are heading to IRP, the first race in November on this ARCA series calendar. How are you feeling heading into the next track?
We're going to call that a little bit of a hometown race. It's probably the closest track that still exists to me, or runs at least. And, I've always enjoyed racing there, and I just hope that we have a little bit of ability to go search around at the track. I know there's a couple of different ways you can run there, and we're going to give it 100% there as well, and see if we can keep chewing into this lead that Alan's built up over the California trip.
Indeed. And then final question before we let you go here. Is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out after tonight's race?
Yeah, I got to shout out Terry. I did everything in the book to try to keep him behind me and win this race and get a few extra points. And he raced me clean. He raced me hard. It was a great show probably for you guys as well. But shout out to him on that. Thank you to you guys for broadcasting, and obviously everybody here at Triple Bypass. I know we had a few cautions tonight, but it's still by far one of the best leagues that I've ran in a long time. And we have a tendency to go green a lot of times at short tracks. So.
Indeed, yeah. Congratulations on the P2. It was a hard-fought battle, and you certainly earned it. And best of luck to you next week at IRP.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And last but not least on the podium for our post-race show, we got Alan Kunman in the 3, our points leader. A good solid third place. You didn't really have anything for the top 2, but you made your stab at it. Might have lost a point or 2 here in the lead, but nothing too shabby. Just kind of summarize your night for us, Ben.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I know probably lost a couple points to Adam there, but I don't know. Car was just tight all night from practice, qualifying all the way through the race, and I was trying to do everything I could to try to adapt to it, but I just couldn't figure out anything. Those guys were a lot better than me. But glad to come out of here with the top 3 and keep that points, keep the championship battle going, and see what happens next week.
Absolutely. And I know with these ARCA races, I've obviously run a couple with you guys when we're on our off weeks, and I know how the tire strats can be, and you never quite know what to do when those awkwardly timed cautions come out. And Sean and Chad both pit at that lap 50 some odd caution, and depending how it went, they almost lucked into it if that caution didn't come out when it did. Where did you stand on that tire strategy and making it work and conserving it to the right possible window?
Yeah, it was weird. I was talking with Chad when he pit, and I was just thinking to myself, like, he's probably going to be done towards the end of the race, but the fall off was weird because I know in practice after about 35 laps, fell off a decent amount. And I think those guys were on like 30 lap fresher tires or older tires than us. So, it worked out good for Chad, at least. I don't know where the 77 ended up, but it was weird. But props to Chad for, making that work. I think he ended up top 5. Yeah,
unfortunately, Sean ended up on a rollback, but not really to any fault of his own there. But either way, final question. We head to IRP next week, kind of the, as I say, the sister of where you were last week at Irwindale, so to speak. What's your confidence level heading there to preserve that points lead?
I'm glad you said that, because I say the same thing. I think both of those tracks race fairly similar. I know the exits at IRP corner exit could be a little different, just depending on what type of situation you're in with other cars around you. But I'm looking forward to it. I like running IRP, so hopefully we can go there next week and maybe do what we did last week and get another win on the board.
Absolutely, man. We'll see what you can do. Solid run here, and see if you can back it up next week.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, well, that'll be our post-race show here from the Dover Speedway. Interesting race here, led and won by our race sponsor there. I called you Brad again. I don't know what's going on with me. I've been getting better at it, but any final words to wrap up today's race, Patrick?
Today's race was definitely a race of pure attrition. A massive congratulations to Terry Brooks. It's, like I said, it's always nice when the race sponsor gets a victory at a race that he sponsored. So a very good drive from him. And honestly, I think IRP is going to be a fun one. It's going to be 145 laps. And honestly, I think it's going to be pure cinema. Hopefully with a few less cautions, but overall, still a very good race tonight.
Absolutely expecting that. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff. Stay tuned for the next broadcast, and we'll be happy to have you along for the ride with us. But that's going to be Corey and Patrick signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.